This video is for Math 990 Exam 2. This is the first review video. So we're going to just look through a couple of different concepts. I'm not going to do a lot in 3 because I have some other videos for you, but domain and range is one I want to spend just a little time on. So if you remember, domain is the x values, range is the possible y values, okay? And so one way I keep that straight is D comes before R in the alphabet, X comes before Y. So domain goes with the X values, range goes with the Y values. So the domain in this case is just -6. We don't need to write -6 4 times, it's just -6 repeated. The range is going to be 7, 6, 5, 4. Typically you want to write this from least to greatest. So 4, 5, 6, 7. You can put it like this, or you can just put the number. We need to know, is the relation a function? So to decide if this relation is a function, we need to make sure there's no repeating x values, okay? Which in this case there are. And another way to think of it is, we'll say this is -6 right here. Well, this would not pass the vertical line test. So a vertical line test is a way to check if it's a function. If you draw a vertical line and it hits more than one point, which in this case it'll hit all 4 points, it is not a function, okay? So it'd be no because of repeating x values. This is an important concept to understand, and it will come up again later. Okay, let's look at number 6. We've got to calculate these values. I want to mainly focus on this f of -2. This is a very commonly missed error I see. When you substitute in the number, you need to make sure you use parentheses. So 3 times parentheses -2 squared plus 3 times -2 minus 8. So -2 squared we get 4 times 3. 3 times -2 will give us -6 minus 8. So 3 times 4 is 12 minus 6 minus 8. And from here we want to work left to right. So I didn't say this at the beginning. Make sure you do order of operations here. So parentheses first. There's nothing to simplify in parentheses. So then you would go to exponents, then multiply and divide, and now this last step, add and subtract. So we have 12 minus 6, which is 6 minus 8. 6 minus 8 becomes -2. So our final answer there would be -2. So main keys in this one, make sure when you substitute in a negative number that you use parentheses and then follow the order of operations to solve. Okay, next I'm going to skip ahead to 3.8 and we're going to look at this question number 42. So we have Courtney has been tracking the number of eagles she saw during 4 summers. In 2015, she saw 85 eagles. In fact, I'm going to write this down. So we knew 2015, oops, then I'll just say 16, 17, and 18. I'm going to draw a little table. So in 2015, she saw 85. 2016 she saw 90, and 17 and 18 she saw 100 and 106 eagles respectively. She found the data is approximately linear. Use the data to find an equation for the linear model. Use the variable t for the number of years after 2013. So for example here, if we're after 2013, this would be t equals 2. At 18 we're t equals 5. And where n of t is the number of eagles seen. So if we're doing a linear model, we want it in y equals mx plus b. In this case, though, it'll be n of t in place of y equals still m for our slope, t instead of x, because we're looking at the time, and still plus b. So we still need to find our slope and our y-intercept, okay? So first let's find our slope. So to find our slope, we can choose 2 of these points, doesn't matter which ones. So I'm just going to choose the first one and the second one. So for the first one, I know t is 2 because it's how many years after 13, and 85 eagles. The next one will be 3 90. So I'm going to use those 2 points to find my slope. So I'll use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So for y2 we have 90 minus 85 for y1. For x2 we have 3 minus 2. Notice that 90 and 3 were both in the first spots, 85 and 2 are both in the second spots. And that's the most important part, is that they stay consistent. So 90 minus 85, we get 5. 3 minus 2, we get 1, which will just simplify to 5. So now we have our slope, or in this case, more of a rate of change. Okay. Next, we need to find our y-intercept. So what we can do is use our point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We can put in either point, doesn't matter, let's just do 2 and 85. So we'll do 85 for y1. Remember we want to leave y and x as is so we can have an equation, equals our slope we found, which is 5 times x minus x1, or 2 in this case. Now we want to solve for y, so distribute, we get y minus 85 equals 5x minus 10. And I'll address that in a minute. Okay, add the 85 to both sides. So we get y equals 5x plus 75. Now, something to note, I kind of switched between x's and y's here. If you want, you can solve the whole equation with x's and y's, but just make sure at the very end you do need to have it in terms of t. So n of t in place of y equals 5t in place of x plus 75. So yeah, if you're more comfortable, solve in terms of x and y, but just remember to change it at the end. So notice what we did there. We set up a little table with the information. We used 2 of the points, and it doesn't matter which 2 points you use. You may get a little bit of a different answer, but as long as it'll be very close. So you can use any of the 2 points, find the slope between the 2 points, and then use that slope to help you find the equation, the y-intercept and the rest of the equation. Okay, so that's part A. Oh, let's see. So we've got our equation. Compute the y-intercept for this function and what it means. So in this case, the y-intercept would be just 75. Okay. Now what would that mean? So if t is 0, well, in this case, they told us after 2013, so if 2015 is 2, that means 2013 is 0. So in this case, that means in 2013, there were 75 eagles. Okay. Using this model, we found predict the year in which we will see 162 eagles. So what we can do here, we know n of t stands for how many eagles there are, so we can just put 162 for n of t equals 5t plus 75, and then we'll just solve for t, and I'm going to leave that to you. Okay, let's look at 4.1. So we have, we're looking, is 3, -4 a solution to the following system? So on this one, what we're going to need to do is we're going to plug 3, -4, we're going to substitute it in for both x and y, and see if this first equation comes out as true. And then if that comes out true, we're going to substitute it in for the second equation and see if that one comes out true. If 3, -4 makes both equations come out true, then we know it's a solution. If either equation, when those are substituted in, if either equation comes out false, then it's not a solution for the system. Okay? So basically what it's saying is if we're graphing these 2 lines, we graph those 2 lines, so is this point, is that, we'll say that's 3, -4, is that the point where these 2 lines cross? And this is a way to check it algebraically without having to graph. Okay, that is going to be it for this review video. If you want some more help on some of these, make sure to check out the Module 4 review videos, and I go over some problems that are similar to this, or reach out if you have specific questions and I'd be happy to make you a video. Good luck!